44% of Gen Z men never dated as teenagers. Not less dating, not struggling, never. This isn't normal, this isn't historical, and this single statistic explains why so many young men today feel so lonely and invisible. For boomers, teen dating wasn't nearly universal. It was 78%. For Gen Z or Gen X, it was 76%. Even millennials grew up dating normally, but something changed, and that change is now hitting young men in their 20s like a brick wall, emotionally, socially, and mentally, because romantic experience didn't disappear, it got delayed. And the delay is destroying confidence before adulthood even begins. Before we go deeper, tap the like button, not for me, but because this video helps guys who genuinely think they're alone in this. My dad, Num Num Noodles here, he always says, when something helps you, you should show some appreciation. All right, let's get right back into the video. In this video, let's look at why dating collapsed for young men, how technology, parenting, and culture created passive men, why modern dating rewards emotional experience most men never got, how this leads to loneliness, insecurity, and the feeling of falling behind, and what you can do to actually survive your 20s and rebuild your confidence. Let's get started at the roots. Teen dating used to be the training ground for adulthood, the place where boys learned confidence, communication, boundaries, flirting, emotional regulation, dealing with conflict, and handling rejection. But in the early 2000s, everything shifted. The numbers do not lie. Only 56% of Gen Z adults dated at all as teens. Only 54% of Gen Z men and 44% of Gen Z men had zero romantic history. And this isn't a small cultural shift. This is a total collapse. So why does this even matter? Dating experience wasn't about romance. It was about practice having uncomfortable conversations, practice navigating emotions, practice understanding yourself. Without those reps before adulthood, everything becomes harder. Relationships, communication, confidence, conflict resolution, and your self-worth. You enter your 20s at level 1. Our generation, we're entering at level 20. Ask any psychologist. Confidence is built through attempts, failure, and experience. Technology removed all of that. Half of Gen Z men play video games every single day. Not weekly, not casually, daily. Video games replace social hangouts, real-world interactions, flirting, talking to strangers, meeting people, rejection, risk. You can spend your entire childhood in virtual worlds and never learn how to function in the real one. Social media made observation replace participation. You don't date, you watch people date on TikTok. You don't talk to girls, you watch guys talk to girls on YouTube. Life became a live stream. You're not the main character, you're the spectator. There used to be neighborhood kids, parks, malls, basements full of friends, sleepovers, unsupervised time where romance actually happened. Now, parents track their kids like FBI agents, right? You got location apps, Life 360, curfews, monitoring, no freedom. Teen dating requires being unsupervised, and nobody is unsupervised anymore. So the first place young men learned confidence absolutely disappears. This part is uncomfortable but factual. Women report preferring older men not for their money but for their experience, emotional maturity, communication, stability, confidence, and clarity. Where does that experience come from? Dating reps. Older generations built those skills early, but today's young men didn't get that early development. The result, young men aren't unattractive. They're underdeveloped at fault of their own. Women want men who can communicate like adults, but most men never practice those skills because those skills come from teen dating. So now we have a whole generation of men entering adulthood with no dating experience, with passive lifestyles, weak social skills, with helicopter upbringing, and underdevelopment when it comes to emotional maturity. And they're walking into the hardest dating market in history. Dating apps reward the top 10%. Apps funnel attention toward the most attractive people, most experienced, most socially confident men. If you're a normal guy, the blue collar job, no car, no fancy photos, no confidence, no experience, you get buried. This leads to loneliness, insecurity, depression, emotional shutdown, avoidance, lack of initiative, fear of getting rejected. Men aren't dating not because they're undesirable, but because the entire societal foundation that creates desirable men fall apart. For me, I'm 25, I'm an HVAC apprentice in Edmonton. I make around 20 an hour right now, no car, living in a basement, and I'm part of this statistic. I didn't grow up dating consistently, and I'm part of this statistic. I didn't grow up dating constantly. I didn't learn those early skills. I didn't have the reps. Some months I work all day, collapse at night, and realize I hadn't had a conversation with a woman in weeks. Not because I'm weird, not because I'm broken, but because the system around me changed. I'm grinding, building, investing, trying to build a future, and dating feels like an entirely separate world right now, running its own rules that I didn't really get to dabble in. This is what millions of young men are going through silently. So this is what you can do. All right, first thing is build competence. Competence is the new attractiveness, not money. Competence, trades, work ethic, learning, discipline, self-respect. The more capable you are, the more confident you feel. Build communication slowly. Start small. Greet people. Talk to baristas. Ask a question. Maintain eye contact. Reps rebuild confidence. Fix your presentation. Simple improvements. Clean haircut, clean shoes, decent clothes. Trim your beard, skincare, posture, steady tone. You don't need to be handsome, just polished. 4. Build a social courage through micros risk. Say hey first. Ask questions. Start tiny conversations. Not flirting, just being human. Next thing, build a life first. Women are drawn to men with direction, purpose, stability, goals. Build your mission first. Dating becomes easier. If this generation of men doesn't reclaim experience, if you don't rebuild your confidence and communication, the dating gap will grow wider. Loneliness will rise. Men will withdraw further, and society will collapse into two groups: men who tried and men who avoided. You need to be in the first group. You are not behind. You are not broken. You were raised in a system that failed to prepare you, but now you have awareness, and awareness is the start of change. This video helped. Like the video. It helps push this message to the guys who desperately need it. And comment below. My story starts now. I'll be reading every single comment. Your 20s aren't meant to break you. They're meant to rebuild you.